welcome to day 3 of the 100-day project, because this is where we are working on the last 100 days of 2025 and we are actually looking forward to get things properly done. So, in today's thing, since it was a Sunday, I actually had a early start of the day. So, we're sitting in and looking at what should be done for the day, and from there, I took things forward. So the first thing was with respect to platforms, almost I believe everything is done, because we were building a Substack newsletter. The Substack newsletter was more like a nurture platform so that we can keep our audience more engaged about what the backend is. Because what I've realized is, especially with respect to B2B sales, there are many people who are teaching frameworks, but almost I didn't find a lot of people who actually show how they do things in their organization. So I thought that is something that I could do. So the Substack is published, and from there we do the distribution. So in our company, generally we have two layers of content: the core and the distribution. So if you understand it right, the core is where the originality comes from. That is where I create content. For example, when it comes to Substack, I write it, I draft it, and the publication is from me. So this Substack is then sorted into Medium publications and a blog. So that is done by my team. So that is then redistributed and repurposed. So this way we are able to optimize the distribution for a broader traffic segment, while at the same time ensure that we are in a very high energy saving mode. So I make original content for YouTube, LinkedIn and Substack, which is then distributed across Medium, podcast, Instagram, Snapchat and our blogs and so many other platforms actually. And honestly, every platform has the audience. So beyond that, here's a breakdown of what we did throughout the day today. Firstly, for Tamil Social Academy, and guys, very important thing, if you're not able to follow, or if you think, okay, I'm not getting the heads and tails out of it, this is day 3, okay, please check on day 2. We discussed about the goals, we discussed about what needs to be done. So today is rather a documentation of how the strategies are moving forward. So under Tamil Social Academy, we are starting the nurture for the WhatsApp group. I'm telling we are starting because ideally now we are at around 5:30 p.m. and I would be doing it in the next 1 hour. The reason I'm shooting this video right now is I'm planning to move upstairs. So I thought today's video would rather come from a home office setup than somewhere pretty random like I used to do. Like I did the earlier editions. So for Tamil Social Academy, we are starting the nurture of the WhatsApp group, and I realized I need to get back on track on Reels, because we are launching Meta Power soon, both the sales and the live classes. I'm pretty much excited for it. So today we posted stories. The same will be repurposed as a reel actually, and we did the final check on the website before launch. We are getting ourselves onboarded with an LMS. We have finalized an LMS and that's pretty good. I'm just getting it started. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. What's pending here is I need to get the final things on the website done, and I need to finalize a clear-cut strategy for how the nurture for the WhatsApp group is going to go from now on. And I need to set up my LMS, because today we just got the onboarding sorted, which is just a KYC, so the onboarding needs time to get it through. So ideally that will take until half of October, I believe. That's just there. So what's completely pending is to start the ads. We haven't done it yet because webinar plannings are still underway. So that's a lot of work in progress. However, we are getting it sorted. The next thing is the content board. So content board, I was thinking whether should I have a separate nurture for DTC and B2B, because we were earlier dealing with that segment and we have a pretty good audience there. And I wanted to do my email workflow via Flawdesk, so I just finalized on it. But we have not. I thought I would do the first email today, but I couldn't do it actually. I just got all my earlier videos sorted because I realized the content part is delaying a bit. And like I told you before, I clearly believe on personal branding led inbound sales. So no matter what, the content should go every day. So I sat down, figured out all the content. We made around 25 to 30 pieces of content today. So the next content workflow is pretty sorted. And we also got a landing page. So the final things were underway. So ideally that will be done in a couple of days. So it's just a matter of time before that goes live. So before this, I need to also get my Flawdesk sorted. So that is there. So even for this, I want to put together a framework for nurture, both pre and post nurture, so that when prospects come from ads, we already have a magnetic buying environment. So that part is actually there. So yeah, with respect to Tamil Social Academy and content board, a lot of things are underway. And even with respect to Line.Digital, for the content, I'm yet to give my designer the person who edits the videos, I'm yet to give him the workflows that needs to be added up there. So I'm just thinking a lot about it. So that is going on. Now the next part is, Here's the most exciting update, guys. The bill manager. Because in yesterday's video, I told you that I'll tell you about bill manager. So today, here's a preview. So in bill manager, so this was an idea by my founder. Ideally, I have not contributed anywhere towards the idea. So the thing is, we get a lot of physical bills, right? There are actual bills when we go to restaurant, when we go shopping, and all of it. So there are two use cases here. One is when it acts as a personal expense manager, not just in a way that okay, I'll tell you first the basics of how it works. I get a bill, I just take a snap of it and I load it. Maybe in the future videos, I'll also show you a go through of how the app is. But for now, I'm just taking a picture and I'm loading it. So once I load it, it immediately, by seeing the picture, it auto categorizes it, takes in the numbers, observes the additions from the bill, whatever needs to be there. So then I get a final report of this is where I shopped, this is when I shopped, this was the expense, and this is where it is categorized under. So at the end of the month, I'll get a complete summary of which are the categories my shopping comes under and which are the dates that had the highest shopping, so that I can look for patterns and many more of that. Now all of these happens automatically. So which means I do not need to input the date, I do not need to input anything, I do not need to categorize this. This auto segmentation, it just happens, and trust me, the app is super intelligent. Now on top of this, where it gets interesting is there is an AI, okay? The AI personal assistant, and that's called Billu. Yeah. Point is, he hates cats, but he still named it Billu because I don't know, something is rubbed off on me. And I love cats, so I'm just taking it as an added privilege there actually. So this Billu, which is a financial assistant, so what this does is this studies your patterns. And then after 2 to 3 months of you using the application, it suggests me, see, these are your patterns. This is where you're spending a lot of money. These are your overall patterns. The underlying pattern that are completely invisible to me. Billu notices it and it becomes my personal financial assistant. Or it also becomes my personal financial advisor. So Billu advises me on how I should segment my savings, how I should segment my investment. Again, it does not give ideas on, let's say, what to invest in, but rather it tells you, see, these are your spending pattern, this is what I should be aware of, this is what I should be careful about, and this is what I should be doing. So those parts, Billu handles it. So this is the app that is getting ready, and I'm super excited for it because I've been personally using it for the past 2 months. Since the time we launched it in stealth mode, we have been trying out bugs, trying out a lot of new features and so on. So we are working on it actually. He is working on it and I'm using it. So that has been a very exciting thing for me. So this being the B2C use case, we're also planning to use it for reimbursement, for let's say companies' expense management, so that founders can get a complete idea of where are their expenses going. Because more than 30% of a company's expense is often categorized as miscellaneous, right? It's not invoices that's getting cleared. And bill manager never handles invoices. We only handle bills. So what are the bills that your company is getting? Because I think it's high time that we study that. So that part is completely handled by bill manager. So we are getting the use cases and the customer personas a bit sorted. So that part is underway. Now for this, I have devised a marketing plan today because I want to have 2 channels, a top of the funnel and the middle of the funnel. For Tofu, I'm considering Twitter, since that can be a good place for us to get a personal branding right from a SaaS point of view, and Substack for middle of the funnel. Because again, we want to have a repository that gets the guides, has videos, and has options to go, get on a live if needed, do a podcast and all of it. And I think pretty much Substack covers it all up. So just a few items to get ready. Just a few items are ready. So the rest completely need to be sorted. So while I'm working on these, I'm pretty mindful that I'm not going to let sales doctor lose its essence. So we posted a newsletter on LinkedIn today about the 20% that we need to focus on. So that part we are in, and I would highly recommend you read that newsletter. It's pretty short, ideally a 3 to 4 minute read, but it's one of the insightful pieces that I've written in a while. So definitely. So Sundays are all about rethinking and reworking. So I think for today, the fundamentals are pretty sorted. But the thing about fundamentals are, once you know what to do and once we come out of the planning phase, everything is a routine gig, right? So I think after months of planning, today I feel like, okay, we are live. And I've actually started my thing. Because almost from August, I've been planning, ideating, going back and forth on plan. If you see, I have a whole notebook with plans, and then I change another notebook and then another one. And I just feel like I'm just over in my head a lot. And you know how this Instagram shows you the most relatable reels. So it has been showing me images on how planning creates a lot of dopamine, and that's why many times we get into this planning phase and we are just there. We don't get into implementation. Today I felt like I've finally broken the chain, but there are a lot of things to do and I get distracted a lot. So getting my attention on one thing is becoming a pretty hard thing for me to do. So yeah, a lot of things are in progress, but I think with respect to how it was yesterday, with respect to how it was a week ago, today is an outstanding progress. So I really thank myself for that, and I wish you drop the planning and you get started too, because I mean there's less than 100 days for 2025 to end, and this time I really want to take it seriously, because it's either you fight or you die, simple, and I'm not ready to give up without a fight. So yeah, see you tomorrow with day 4, and let's get this going.